Hello and welcome to another math lesson with Mrs. Kempf. You have an LOT at the beginning of this video on your screen right now, and you should also have this LOT on your notes paper. So please pause the video and do the LOT as best as you can, pressing play when you are ready to check your answers. Welcome back. Let's go ahead and check our answer here to this LOT. Angie and Kenny play online video games. Angie buys one software package, so I'm going to go ahead and write 1P for one software package, plus 3 months, 3M of gameplay. Kenny buys one software package and 2 months of gameplay. Each software package, I already see that the software package costs $20 and that the total is $115. So remember, P is for software package and M is for month. So I'm looking for the cost of 1 month. I'm trying to find out what M equals. So I'm going to go ahead and before I substitute in the $20, I am going to combine my like terms here. 1P plus 1P is 2P, 3M and 2M is 5M equals 115. And I know that the P, the software pack, costs 20 each, so I can replace the letter P with 20 and solve my equation from there. 2 times 20 is 40. I'm running out of space, I apologize. Subtract 40 from both sides, and so 115 minus 40 gives me 75. So 5M equals 75. Divide by 5, and I have M is 15 months. I'm sorry. Not 15 months, $15 per month. I apologize for that, for my misspeaking there. But I am looking at $15 per month of gameplay. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started on our lesson for today. Today we are solving multi-step equations, and today specifically multi-step equations involving distributive property and most likely combining like terms as well. I do need to remember that as I'm solving equations, it is a balancing act. I've mentioned the golden rule of algebra. Whatever you do to one side, you do to the other, and that is because of this balancing act. It does not remain an equivalent equation unless I do the same thing to both sides. That's one of the reasons I have been encouraging you to draw the line so that we can continue to see and verify that we are keeping the equation balanced. Okay? As we solve, we need to remember to simplify one or both sides of the equation. This step in particular might be new for you. We are going to now have not just two-step equations but multi-step, so we might have to simplify, combine like terms, and distribute first. Then we need to use inverse operations in order to isolate the variable. And so we need to do order of operations backwards. So to solve or simplify PEMDAS, we need to do it backwards, SADMAP. So a quick review of what we did last week. 7x minus 3x minus 8 equals 24. Drawing my line first and combining my like terms. 7x minus 3x is 4x. Now I have a two-step equation. I first add 8 and have 4x equals 32. And at this point now I have a one-step equation where I need to divide by 4 in order to see that x equals 8. Okay, I don't want to forget to check myself here. So if I think about an 8 in 4x, 7 times 8 is 56, minus 8 times 3 is 24, minus 8, and does that give me 4? Well, 56 minus 24 is 32. 32 minus 8 is in fact 24, so I do have it correct. So as I continue here, distributive property, right? When I'm looking at distributive property, I remember that I need to be extremely careful about the number in front of my parentheses and make sure that the sign with that value carries through the problem with that value. So in this specific problem, I see parentheses, I'm going to distribute. I am distributing a -3 to those parentheses. So my 4x copies down. -3 times x is -3x. -3 times -2 is +6. And my equals 21 does not change. Now I have combining like terms. 4x minus 3x is 1x, or plain x, plus 6 equals 21. Remember, at this point, I am not worried about moving anything to the other side of my equal sign, so I have not had to do the same thing to both sides or keep that balancing act. That only applies when I am trying to use inverse operations to solve the equation, not simplify. At this point, though, now I do need to use inverse operations and get that 6 away from the x, so I'm going to do -6 on both sides and end up with 21 minus 6 equals 15. At this point now, I can check my work and make sure that I'm good to go here. 4 times 15 minus 3 times 15 minus 2. So 4 times 15 gives me 60. Minus 3 times, and 15 minus 2 is 13. 13 times 3 is 39, so 60 minus 39 does in fact give me 21. So as we continue with the distributive property, notice that in this problem we have distributing twice, and you will continue to see this as we get further and further into multi-step equations. For my first set of parentheses, I'm distributing a -5. So -65 equals -5 times -m is +5m. -5 times 4 is -20. Now I have another -5 I am distributing. They will not normally be the same number. It is a coincidence in this problem. -5 times +1 is -5. -5 plus 5m is, or times +5m, I'm sorry, is -25m. At this point, I do see that on the right side of my equal sign, I still have some simplifying that I can do. 5m and -25m can be combined to be -20m. And -20 and -5 can be combined to be -25. At this point now, I am going to begin inverse operations to continue solving. I'm going to add 25 to both sides. However, with a positive and a negative over here, I actually subtract. -65 plus 25, which again is actually subtraction, is -40. Now I divide by -20 on both sides to get m equals 2. Again, I see two distributive property applications here. In this first set of parentheses, I see a negative sign outside of the parentheses but no value. I remember that there is always a 1 there if there is no value, so I'm distributing a -1. -1 times 4 is -4. -1 times 7k is -7k. The second distribution is a +6, so 6 times 7 is plus 42k. And then 6 times 9, and they are both positive, so it remains +54 equals -90. I still have simplifying on the left-hand side, so I'm going to continue to simplify, not using inverse operations. -4 and +54 simplifies to 50. -7k plus 42k. -7 plus 42, I end up subtracting, and my 42 is larger, so it ends up being a positive 35k equals negative 90. At this point, I use inverse operations to isolate my variable. I'm going to subtract 50 from both sides. 35k equals negative 90 minus 50. That's the same as negative 90 plus negative 50, so I have negative 140. Dividing both sides by 35 to continue isolating that variable, and my answer is k equals negative 4. As I continue here, I'm seeing lots of distributive property application here. Negative 5 times p, negative 5 times 7. Negative 3 times negative 9 gives me positive 27. Negative 3 times positive 4, negative 12p. Combine like terms. Negative 12 and negative 5 is negative 17p. 27 plus negative 35 gives me negative 8. Now I use inverse operations to solve. 43 plus 8 gives me 51, divided by negative 17 gives me p equals 3. One last question here, and then it will be time for you to practice. Again, make sure you are taking your notes here. Distributing a negative 5. Negative 5 times negative 9 is positive 45 minus 35n. Distributing a positive this time. Plus 28n. Positive times negative is negative. 8 times 4 is 32. Combine like terms. 45 minus 32 is 13. Negative 35 plus 28 gives me negative 7n. Subtract 13 from both sides. I notice on the left that I have 6 minus 13, so that's going to give me a negative number, negative 7. Excuse me. Negative 7 equals negative 7n. Divide both sides by negative 7 and we get n equals 1. All right, so today we learned and reviewed how to solve multi-step equations specifically containing distributive property and combining like terms. Please show the teacher your completed notes page in order to get your practice assignment. And if you have any questions, please refer to your notes or ask for help. Thanks for watching.